All right, guys, we gotta go ahead and talk about Nintendo Switch 2. We have a bunch of news today, including some updates on the sales, especially coming out of Japan, and also the popularity of either the Japanese exclusive version, which is a region-locked console, or their region-free version. What's the difference in demand? What is going on? Remember, there's a massive price difference, and I imagine we're going to find out why that price difference exists soon enough. Also, we have to dive into some new information on Donkey Kong Bananza. We got some brand new information on that that's actually pretty exciting. We have more information on another game coming to Switch 2, and actually a full list of the currently confirmed games coming to Nintendo Switch 2 and the exclusives, launch day, all that stuff. We're going to look at that as well. I am really excited for what we have going on today. I'm also excited to announce we have a brand new giveaway going on right now for 2 Nintendo Switch 2 Mario Kart bundles. This giveaway has launched literally right now at the behest of this video. So you can go ahead and enter for that down in the link in the pinned comment or in the description. The winner for that will be drawn the week before Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. Well, the 2 winners will be drawn. That does mean our prior Nintendo Switch 2 giveaway has come to an end. I have already sent an email out to the winner. As soon as I hear back from them and confirm some details, we will put a community post up, hopefully by the end of today. I am waiting for an email response. And if they don't end up responding, obviously we'll eventually draw a new winner until we finally do get someone who responds and we get all that information up. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who entered our prior giveaway. We had over 11,000 individual people enter that giveaway. That's utterly amazing. And now we're giving away 2, and these are the Mario Kart bundle editions. So I wish you guys luck on that giveaway. Remember, we actually have one more system we'll be giving away as well in a live stream, but that's going to be happening way later in May. We're not even to May yet. So we'll talk about that as we start to conclude this giveaway towards the end of May. That being said, folks, let's get into this. So as we dive in here, we got this article over at Go Nintendo. It says Japanese retailers see a massive Switch 2 stock allotments, but demand still far outpaces supply. So basically, they're getting a ton of Switch 2s, but unfortunately, they still can't keep up. So as we go down here, so what we have learned about the Switch 2 so far, well, in terms of sales, it seems that Switch 2 is going to be a ginormous hit right out the gate. The system saw its pre-order sell out pretty much instantly around the world, meaning Switch 2 will be extremely hard to come by at launch for those who didn't get one on early purchase. Apparently, the situation might be even worse in Japan. Anecdotal evidence points to retailers in Japan getting huge Switch 2 allotments for launch, with one Yokado store getting 320 units for launch and another store getting 125 units. That might seem like a sizable batch of Switch 2 units, and especially if you consider pre-orders here in the United States, right? We had some GameStops have like 150 in person. We didn't have any go over 300, so there's a lot here. But pre-order lotteries show those numbers don't even come close to satiating demand. The Yokota store may be getting 320 Switch 2 units, but their pre-order lottery tells another story. One pre-order hopeful noted their ticket clocked in at 6,000, meaning that demand is at least 18 times higher than supply at that one individual store. Again, that's just based on one pre-order lottery ticket number, but there's no word on just how high lottery participants ended up climbing. The situation is on a smaller scale with the second store where we mentioned, but it still points to major supply issues. While the store's getting 125 launch units for Switch 2, we know that at least 900 people have signed up for the pre-order lottery. In other words, there is going to be a lot of disappointed fans coming June 5th, 2025. And man, that is insane. 18 times? Holy crap. The demand for Switch 2 is just palpable when it comes to Japan. And look, this just adds into the total number of expected orders for Switch 2 day one. Like, it's expected Nintendo's about to break every single pre-order record. As we get down here, analysts predict the unprecedented 5 million Switch 2 units will be globally sold. We talked about this before. When we go down here, it says analysts continue to take a stab at Switch 2 pre-order figures and overall sales. We now have a comment from Pelham Smithers of equity research firm Pelham Smithers Associates in an article from the Japan Times. Smithers says as Japan counts for a third of the global Switch install base, it implies 6.6 million pre-orders. And now, obviously, that is based on Nintendo's own numbers from people that want it there. But here's the thing. We don't know what the final sales are going to be day one. Obviously, only Nintendo knows how many units they're making, and they're seemingly selling every single unit they can make. I do know pre-orders are still readily available in some countries, but I can start to see like If those countries' pre-orders don't pick up, some of those units might get reallocated to the US or Japan. That does happen. Move units around to where demand exists the most. That being said, we're not done talking about Japanese pre-orders because remember how I said we got to get into like, hey, what's the demand for the different console units? Well, we have an idea now thanks to this article over on Video Game Chronicle. It says less than 3% of Japanese players trying to get a pre-order for Switch 2 want the region-free version, a survey suggests. Now, one thing to remember about surveys is they're always like a very small amount of people compared to the total amount of people trying to buy. So surveys, like all statistics, can be manipulated a bit to say what you want them to say. But as we go down here, Nintendo is selling a cheaper region lot Switch 2 model in Japan. So it says earlier this month, Nintendo announced a Japanese domestic-only version of Switch 2 will be the only version available to purchase from general retailers in Japan. That's like the big thing here is while they are selling the region free version, you actually have to get that directly from Nintendo. If you're going to buy at retail, you can only get the Japanese exclusive one, which again could end up skewing some of the results when that's exactly what you plan to buy because it's like the only thing truly available. Anyways, the domestic only console will retail for a cheaper price, which is 49,980 yen or 334 USD, and will only have Japanese as the console's language setting. And the only Nintendo account that we linked will be one created with the country and region setting to Japan. Players who want a region-free model will have to try the Japanese My Nintendo store, where a more expensive Switch 2 model with multilingual support can be found priced at 69,980 yen, or roughly $467 US. Ex-user Yakuna-Sam14 surveyed nearly 60,000 players who had entered the Nintendo lottery to pre-order Switch 2 console from its official My Nintendo store, as spotted by Automation, and 69.7% of those surveyed said they applied for the region-locked Switch 2 bundle with Mario Kart World, while a further 27.5% said they applied for the region-locked Switch 2 console on its own. This left just 2.9% of respondents who said they applied for the more expensive, region-free, multilingual version exclusive to the My Nintendo store. While the cheaper region lot model is clearly more popular in Japan, according to these findings, there's a silver lining for those looking for region-free version, in that there's a chance of being chosen for the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order lottery was much higher due to lesser demand. According to the survey, 69.7% of people who applied to pre-order a region lot Switch 2 with Mario Kart World, only 24.3% were successfully chosen in that lottery. Of the 27.5% who applied for the pre-order for the region lot console, on its own, only 17.6% were successful. However, of the 2.9% who applied for the pre-order of the more expensive region-free model, a vast majority of them, 91.2% of those surveyed, were successful and were able to pre-order their chosen console. So basically, if you were trying to get one in Japan off the My Nintendo store, you really wanted to go for the region-free version. Otherwise, it was going to be very hard to get. But obviously, people want to save money. Why wouldn't you get the significantly cheaper model? All that. So as we scroll down here, we can see the results of these polls here in Japanese at the Yakuna-san thing here. Nintendo told its Japanese players earlier this week that a significant number of them would be unsuccessful in their lottery applications because the number of people who had applied had far exceeded its expectations. According to Nintendo, 2.2 million people in Japan entered the lottery to pre-order the console. This is for the My Nintendo store. And they called it astonishing. To spare those who are not selected in the first lottery sale, the trouble of reapplying, the My Nintendo store will automatically carry over selected applicants from the first lottery to the second lottery. However, the number of available units in the second lottery sale, we will not be able to fulfill all applications we have received. So again, things are going absolutely insane in Japan. These are obviously going to be record-breaking numbers. And we're not done talking about Nintendo of Japan, because Nintendo did this really cool thing, and they're claiming this cool thing is going to be available in English. However, it's not available just yet. And that is they released a Nintendo Magazine 2025 special issue. I feel like they were only handing this out in Japan. I don't know, because I haven't seen anybody at the Switch 2 experiences here have it. But I want to go look at this news article. It comes right off of the Nintendo Japan website. So we're using Google Translate. It says the digital version of the Nintendo Magazine 2025 special issue featuring the Nintendo Switch 2 has been released. The printed version will also be shipped to TV game stores nationwide from around May 9th. Now, again, this is just in Japan. And you can see it's got some really cool facts and interesting stuff in there. We actually learned something from this magazine. We're going to get to it in a moment. It says Nintendo Magazine has been delivering information on a variety of software from the latest titles to classic titles for Nintendo Switch. This time, to commemorate the release of Switch 2, we'll be publishing the Nintendo Magazine 2025 special issue ahead of the print version. The digital version was released, which, yes, you can go check out the digital version if you want. Again, it's all in Japanese, so it's very hard to understand for me. But it says the special issue is a comprehensive feature that introduces the features of Switch 2, newly added functions, and a lineup of new software, bringing together recommended content for those considering purchasing a Switch 2. Makes a lot of sense in Japan, especially with how popular things are. And it says the booklet version, which is the physical version, will be shipped sequentially from around May 9th. It has about 80 pages of information, and each page features links to official websites and videos, obviously in the digital version. The print version, which is free, will begin shipping around May 9th after Golden Week holidays. It is expected to be in video game stores worldwide. And as I said, there is some stuff announced by Nintendo that this is supposed to be available in English. I don't know if a physical version will be. The digital version is supposed to be, but it's not actually available in English yet. Despite this, of course, it is available for free in Japanese. And because of that, people who know Japanese and know English can actually glean some details from it that we didn't know before. And that, of course, includes brand new details for Donkey Kong Bananza. So coming from that magazine, we learned some really cool stuff. So let's go to this PC guide. Yes, this is the website of all websites that posted about it. So Donkey Kong Bananza confirmed to take full advantage of the Nintendo Switch 2's improved resolution. All right. So as we go down here, it says Donkey Kong Bananza will be among the Switch 2 games releasing within the handheld's launch window, which usually is about 90 days for Nintendo. Sometimes they go 9 months. Reggie made it 9 months, so I guess we could say maybe 9 months. We didn't have any clues about which Switch 2 games to take advantage of the handheld's specifications. More specifically, the large 7.9-inch LCD screen's maximum 1080p resolution and HDR support. Nintendo Japan recently released a digital version of the Nintendo Magazine 2025 special issue. And while most of the information focuses on the new system and isn't exactly new, on page 12, the company used Donkey Kong Bananza to showcase the console's advancements. It didn't take long to spot a small piece of text under the image confirming the title will run at up to 1080p resolution, 60 FPS with HDR in handheld mode. That's awesome. It is not common for launch titles to take full advantage of a new console, so this is definitely impressive. Still, we've yet to see how the 1080p 60 FPS performance holds up in actual tests. It's also worth noting the Switch 2 offers up to 120 Hz, more than the Steam Deck, so there's still some headroom to target. That said, Donkey Kong Bonanza is set to arrive on July 17th and will be priced at $69.99 US, whereas the Nintendo Switch 2 console itself launches on June 5th. And this is the image they're talking about. Pretty awesome, by the way, that this is in here. So here's what it says. Get ready for Donkey Kong Bonanza, a brand new 3D platforming action adventure available exclusively on Switch 2. Crash, bash, and climb through nearly everything in DK's path and tear off chunks of terrain to swing around and throw in groundbreaking exploration. The more that is demolished with powerful punches, the more areas open up to discover. Break on through this adventure of full mayhem and surprises and bananas when Donkey Kong Bonanza crashes on Switch 2 July 17th. So, again, just some great news for Donkey Kong Bonanza. Obviously, whether it runs at a consistent 60 FPS and it stays at 1080p and there isn't some multiple resolution shenanigans going on in handheld, we don't know. The game was not available, by the way, in handheld at the Switch 2 demo events, the Switch 2 experiences, so nobody there got to play it in that way. So this is new information that we'll have to wait and see if it gets confirmed. But not everything is all sunshine and roses with Switch 2. We talked about some of the weird things happening with Switch 2, whether it's game key cards or whether it's Welcome Tour being a $10 standalone thing on the eShop when it probably should have just been packed in, or at least a free download on the eShop. Well, there's still some more weirdness going on, and again, it's with third-party games. We got to go to Limited Run this time, and this is what I don't get is it's Limited Run, who's known for making physical copies of games and special collector's editions. Man, they're doing the Switch 2 a little dirty. Limited Run's Atlas Switch 2 Collector's Edition is a game keycard release. It's $250. I want to look, we'll see what's included, but it's $250, but they're not putting it on a full physical cart. And that's literally like Limited Run's entire shtick, is like putting things on physical carts. Okay, so come down here. It says, as you discovered in recent weeks, multiple third-party Switch 2 games will be sold as game key cards. Nintendo explains on its own website how the cards are different from regular physical cards and don't contain the full game and act as a key. While many collectors were hoping dedicated physical distributors might step in and save the day, this doesn't appear to be the case for the upcoming Atlas release. That's what we're talking about. Limited Run is like a dedicated physical game release partner. And even Limited Run won't use physical cartridges. What is going on? Limited Run, you have one job. Take a digital game, put it on a physical cartridge. You have one job. And you're charging $250 for this. All right. let's get into this. Limited Runs Games just announced it's helping Atlas and Sega distribute a collector's edition, which, by the way, I don't know why Atlas and Sega need help, but whatever, of Radu Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army. And according to a notice on its website, the Switch 2 collector's edition of this title includes a game keycard. Unsurprisingly, this hasn't gone well online. And it's $250 for this collector's edition, and it comes packaged with everything but a proper physical copy of the game. This announcement follows Atlas last week confirming the standard physical copy of Radu Remastered for Switch 2 would be a game keycard release. So they're basically just reusing the standard version when Limited Run's entire point of existence is to give you the physical. And yeah, so here's what you get with it, right? You get the certification of authenticity, you get this little statue, you get this little 5-inch plush, the enamel pin, and the special soundtrack, and then you get the game. But you're getting a game keycard game. A game keycard game. Notice for the Switch version, you get the actual physical copy. Limited Run notes on the Radu Remastered Collection Edition that it's not part of the Limited Run Games collection and is not a numbered release, which means the distributor could take a different approach to other releases in the future, depending on the partners it's working with. Again, this to me, I don't like because Limited Run's entire point of existence is to put things on physical. Making this collector's edition and then just reusing something that already exists that isn't a full physical. Look, this is not good to me. This also, no matter how much we want to put blame at Nintendo's feet for maybe some of this and maybe having cart size issues and stuff, I'm sorry. Limited Run, don't even bother to put this on Switch 2 then. What are you doing? What are you doing? Options are fine, but your one job is full physical. For $250. Anyways, let's get back into a bit more idea about how well Nintendo Switch 2 could be selling in the US, since we're seeing sellouts here as well, not just in Japan. And we look here to this tweet by Necro Felipe, translated here. It looks like it comes from Family Boards, probably behind some hidden posts there. So it says, as of March 2025, more than 1.2 million Nintendo Switch 2 units, combining console and bundle, have been shipped to the United States. Remembering that not everything stays there. Canada, Mexico, Brazil, and Latin countries receive the USA, but pretty much all those units will be sold. I predicted there would be about 2 million units, maybe 3. It kind of depends, but that's as of March. Remember, they still have obviously this month and May to get units shipped for launch as well. So again, I'm projecting it's going to be about 2 to 2.5 million here in the North American region. So we'll see what happens. But a lot of those sales are going to be in the US. So yeah, it's selling extremely well. And next up, we're going to look at this really cool chart put together by a fan. I'll link to their X account. They sent this chart, or linked me this chart on X, and it goes over all the games that are currently confirmed as coming to Nintendo Switch 2, the price points, the sizes, the release time. We'll put a link to this down in the description if you want to go through it all. We'll just kind of take a quick glance at it, and you can see all the confirmed games here and their sizes. I mean, we got a 62 gigabyte game here, Madden 26. We don't know the limited time bonus version yet. You can see, digital game key card. So we have all this information. Some of it's obviously questionable that we don't know. Like Hogwarts Legacy is kind of weird. Comes out June 5th. We don't know what the game file size is. We don't know the price. And we don't even know if there is a physical version or if it's digital only. It'll obviously be digital, but is it digital only? But it's a launch game. Kind of weird we don't know that information yet. Hollow Knight Silksong, right? Just a general 2025. And it also lets you know if there's upgrades. A couple other things that lets you know here. If you scroll all the way up, it lets you know the publisher, the developer, DLC, price, DLC, yada, yada. So a lot of really, really good information in here. You can also see special editions, which are big box full stuff. These, obviously your limited edition of Daemon X Machina, Radu Remastered, Story of Seasons, and then your first party Nintendo Switch 1 games that are getting free upgrades. And then the Switch 2 exclusives. So you see, obviously, here's just plain old exclusives. Donkey Kong Bananza, Dragon Quest Drive, Fast Fusion, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Kirby Air Riders, Mario Kart World, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, and Dustblood. So that's 9 exclusive games known for Switch 2 so far. And then you have some timed exclusives. These are obviously console timed exclusives, I want to be clear. Hades 2 and then Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which Yakuza 0 is like already on like all the platforms, but this particular version is technically a timed exclusive. So there you go. I don't know when it's going to go elsewhere. If it needs to go elsewhere, who the heck knows? But yeah, so kind of cool. I'll put a link down that if you guys want to go look at it. I find it to probably be pretty useful for a lot of you folks. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this video anyways. If we get any more breaking news stuff today, we'll either get another video out or we'll save it for tomorrow. But I do want to thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a fun journey here. We're almost to May. We got one more day left, guys. One more day. And that day that we have left in April is tomorrow, where we have the Nin 10 Byte podcast. Tonight we'll have a live stream as usual. Otherwise, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I am Nathaniel Reveljans, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.